What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is damn dude industries. So we have kind of now, before the video starts, I want to tell you guys that we just created a Instagram group for all of you fans to join. So you can talk to Blood Buddies, which is, the greatest Chucky group on all of YouTube and social media. Well, literally, like, the only Chucky groups. All you have to do is message me on Instagram, and then I will invite you to the group. We probably will make an Instagram for our group, so that will be a little bit easier, than just having to text one of us. Let's get that 50 members. We have about 13 right now, just in the past, 10 hours. So, also, check out my Chucky's, my first episode of my series. Help that get the 500 views. And, yeah, and thank you for over 1,600 views on my freaking Chucky, movie video. What are we talking about today? Well, a fan sent me a very, 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 very long message, pretty much telling me why Don Mancini should not be making the movies and why the remake is kind of a blessing. And I know everyone's heard, oh, well, Don Mancini this, Don Mancini that, but he has some points here that I didn't even consider why Don Mancini probably should not be making the Chucky movies anymore. Now, I still ride with Don Mancini. I still love the man. He's the one that created Chucky himself. Well, this guy actually kind of explains how Tom Holland did. But basically, let's get into this, and let's see if your opinion on Don Mancini changes after this video. So let's go. As you can tell, it's a lot. Everyone, please listen up. Don Mancini is a hack. He is not the creator of Chucky. Tom Holland is. Don's original script for Child's Play was called Blood Buddy, which is our group, Blood Buddies, so, check us out. Someone better not be over right now. I swear to God, I will be so fucking pissed. Because whenever I start a video, someone wants to come over. And it will feature a bald doll called Buddy, who was a doll that would bleed, and you would have to go out and buy band-aids for it. That is stupid. No company would make a doll that bleeds. They'll make one that pisses, but not one that bleeds. It would be a public relations nightmare, and parents would complain. Andy cut his thumb and then the doll's thumb and linked them together, causing Buddy to become a manifestation of Andy's unconscious rage, and come alive only at night when Andy was asleep to attack his enemies. Think about that as kind of, I don't really know if that would work. Tom Holland rewrote Dom's script for Child's Play because it sucked and it was stupid. Tom Holland came up with Chucky, aka Charles Lee Ray, who was a serial killer that used voodoo to possess a good guy doll. Don Mancini's a terrible writer and director, and I'll give credit where credit is due. He did a solid job writing Child's Play 2 and 3, but that was only because the studio told him what to do and what not to do. Because since he has had free reign and more creative freedom, he has written and directed Seed, Curse, and Cult, 3 of the worst Chucky movies of all time, with stupid storylines with tons of plot holes and inconsistencies, with an annoying wife played by equally annoying Jennifer Tilly and a stupid ginger confused child. I have been a huge fan of Chucky since I was a child. Child's Play 1, 2, 3 were the first horror movies I saw and are what got me in the horror in the first place. After that, I saw Michael, Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. These days, thanks to Don Mancini, I am ashamed to be a Chucky fan or to admit I was ever one in the first place. Don Mancini is a shitty writer and director that makes nothing but stupid, cheap, embarrassing Chucky movies. Tom Holland, the writer and director of the original Child's Play, is the true creator of Chucky, and Don Mancini is nothing but an untalented and worthless hack who has turned Chucky into a complete joke. He got famous for Tom's creation, wake up people, and spread the word. Fuck Don Mancini. My God, that's a lot. So, first off, Child's Play 2 and 3. I actually don't really like 3, to be honest. There are parts of it that I like, but I like Child's Play 1, 2, Bride, and then the rest. And then, Seed was okay to me, and then I love Cole and Curse. So, Child's Play 3 and Seed are the only ones that, like, I would give maybe a 5 out of 10, but the rest of them are 6 and 10s to me. It is true about the plot holes. It is true about the inconsistencies. Jennifer Tilly's not that annoying. She was great in Bride. She was okay in Seed. And in Kuss and Cole, she's kind of there. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree that maybe Tom Holland should have wrote the Chucky movies instead of Dom? Do you think that Dom should not write any more Chucky movies or TV shows? I respect your opinion, dude, and I know you have a lot of admiration for Dom and you love Chucky as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, as someone who grew up with the first 3 films, I just can't accept anything Dom throws at us just because it's Chucky. I actually want the films to be good as well. For me, Chucky hasn't been Chucky and the films haven't been good since Dom started taking control. Bride was okay. I used to like it back in the 90s, but that's only because of the directing by Ronnie Yu. He knew how to direct a movie and it had nice visuals and the dolls looked good. Bride dove up to the good job and the kills were good, but the script was a mess. Cool if you like Jennifer Tilly, I used to, but in my opinion, giving Chucky a wife really weakened the character and ruined him, turning into a joke. He used to be badass and evil and didn't care about anyone but himself, but now he's a joke who is held back by his wife. Chucky suddenly needing an amulet to possess people who just came out of nowhere. Where was that amulet in the first 3 films? Dom just pulled it out of his ass and made it up for Bride, and then Tiffany gets pregnant and gives birth in less than a day when it usually takes 9 months. Seed of Chucky was Dom's first chance at directing, and what we got was a cheap, silly, embarrassing movie where Chucky didn't do anything except argue with Tiffany about him not killing anyone and whether their son was a boy or girl. I hate Glenn as a character. A gender confused doll who doesn't know if he wants to be a boy or girl is stupid and shouldn't be in a Chucky movie at all. We are here to see Chucky, not his annoying wife and ginger confused kid. It's kind of funny saying. I mean, everything he's saying is true. Dom has done a lot of confusing stuff, especially the whole thing where he was like, oh, I want to do it on a train, I want to do it in space. It kind of seems like Dom cares about his fans, and he cares about what we think, but it seems like he cares more about what he wants to do with the character. Cuss tried to be a straightforward horror film, but it failed because it was a cheap and boring movie. I mean, it was cheap, and I mean, it was kind of slow. Chucky looked like an Asian hooker with bad botox. What is? I've never heard of that word. Used medically to treat certain muscular conditions. I get it, because his face is always changing and shit. Ruining any scares or suspense. The forced lesbian subplot between the mom and the nanny was pointless and came out of nowhere, and Charles Lee Ray's backstory wasn't believable at all. Here's the part where I kind of agree with him. Charles Lee Ray was cool in the first 3 films, a stone-cold psycho with anger issues who didn't care about anyone but himself, and immortality through voodoo turned him into a complete loser with a delusional and lonely stalker who sadly wanted to be a family man, even though he was never like that at all. Even Tiffany asked him about marriage. He said, what are you fucking nuts? Ha ha ha. That Chucky now suddenly wants to be a family man. It made no sense. Dom doesn't understand the character at all because Tom Holland created him and Colt was back to Seed. Stupidest. The story made no sense. And Kirsty wanted to kill Nika, but he got her framed and locked up instead. Now he goes to the asylum to finish the job and she cuts her wrist, but Chucky stitches her up even though he wanted her dead. What is the point? Chucky doesn't even know what he wants to do anymore, and neither does Dom. Now he suddenly can possess multiple dolls in 2 seconds because he learned a new spell from a Voodoo for Dummies website. Again, very lazy writing by Dom. Where was that in the first 3 when he had to do so much trouble possessing one child, and why doesn't he just possess multiple humans if that's the case? And Andy, my favorite character, was wasted and didn't do anything. It was wasn't written well at all. Dom made him look stupid. Why would he sit there smoking weed with Chucky's head? Wouldn't he just destroy it for good? And then he punches a security guard and gets locked up in a pad cell. Why would he be locked up? Why would he be locked up in the asylum just for punching a guard? They would take you to jail. Again, more dumb writing by Don Mancini. Ending was just pathetic and insulting. Nika getting possessed, killing a doctor with a random foot fetish, locking Andy in his cell and making out with Tiffany just for the sake of having another random lesbian scene, courtesy of Don Mancini, tons of unanswered questions and disappointments. Tom Holland will always be the true creator of Chucky, and Don Mancini has taken his ideas and ruined Chucky more and more, turning him into a complete joke. He's a horrible writer and director who is just making stuff up as he goes. I'm glad we are getting a new writer and director for the remake. It's what the series needed for a long time. And again, it's cool if you like these films, but fuck Don Mancini. So, what do you guys think? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree with him? Like I kind of said, the whole, like, you know, I agree with him in some aspects, but then there's some stuff where it's like, yeah, but if Tom Holland became the writer, we wouldn't have this stuff to talk about. Like, yeah, Chucky might be a joke, but it's funny. You know, Curse, I think was awesome. I understand why it was boring 70% of the film, but we did get a backstory for Charles. It may not be a great one, but we did. And, you know, Glenn may have not been the best character, but it's a character that a lot of people like. And I think the only defense that I have against Don Mancini is that at least he kept adding on and doing new things other than just doing the same thing from the first 3 Child's Plays. That's what made Child's Play great. But if he would have did it again for the 4th and Bride and everything, it would have just gotten stale and it would have been worse than what we have now. Yeah, Seed may not be a great movie, but imagine if Seed was just the same as the first 3 Child's Play. Chucky going after Andy, you know, it just wouldn't have not been good. So in that aspect, you just have to think, well, yeah, these may not be great movies after the Child's Play franchise, but at least there's something new. At least it's something adding on to the lore. Yeah, it may be lazy writing about the multiple dolls, but what else could he have really done? I mean, yeah, he could have done something where he went back to where he got trained or something, and under the time schedule, what could you do? With the budget, what could you do? You have to kind of give it to him that at least he came up with an explanation for it. He could have just said, oh, just because he can do it all this time. That would have been like, well, then why didn't he do it the first 3 films? But the fact that he at least said, you know, I just learned it, you know, that's why he couldn't do it before. Because he just learned it. He went on the Voodoo's for Websites, you know, Voodoo for Dummies website. That's why he couldn't do it in the films. So I kind of just respect him for at least doing something new and not doing the same thing. They might not be good, but what can you do with the budget that he's been given in the time, you know? Just kind of tell me what you think in the comments. Follow the Instagram, you know, go check out my gaming channel, you know, check out the description for all my social media. Check out my merch, and yeah, I love you all. I hope you have a good day. Keep on killing it, and time for the Chucksters.